This is Kanaya, and today we're going to talk about why are people so grateful. So, yesterday we talked about why people are so ungrateful and why do people feel the need to act entitled. So, the reason why people act entitled is because people deserve special treatment without having to earn them. And they think it's right to not say thank you for people who does nice things for them and making sure they taking care of themselves and ungrateful. So that's called ungrateful people. So ungrateful people focuses on what they don't have instead of appreciating what they do have. Grateful people is a little bit different. So grateful people don't just give them the silent treatment. They just say thank you for all their hard work. It's like putting in the time and effort and stuff like that. So the reason why people feel grateful in life is because they appreciate the things they have in life. So people feel and express gratitude for a variety of reasons, including the acknowledgement of goodness in their life, the recognition of sources of goodness outside themselves, and the positive impact gratitude has on their well-being and relationships. Here's a more detailed look at why people are so grateful. Number one, recognizing goodness and appreciations. Acknowledge the good stuff. Gratitude serves as a middle tool to remind us of the positive aspects of our life, things that might otherwise be overlooked. You know, um, appreciating external sources. Gratitude involve gratitude gratitude involve recognizing that the goodness is in our hand. Gratitude involve recognizing that the goodness in our life comes from sources outside ourselves, whether it's people, nature, or even a higher power. Finding value in the everyday. Gratitude helps us to appreciate those small things and the ordinary moments, which can lead to a greater sense of contentment and happiness. Number two, benefits of gratitude. Improve physiological well-being. Study shows that practicing gratitude can lead to increased happiness, reduce stress, and improve overall mental health. Enhance relationships. Grateful people tend to have stronger relationships as they are more likely to appreciate the people in their lives and express their gratitude. Increase resilience. Gratitude can help us to cope with challenges and setbacks by fostering a sense of hope and optimism. Optimism.
Optimism.
Optimism. So, gratitude can help us to cope with challenges and setbacks by fostering a sense of hope and optimism. So, in this case, guys, if you don't know what optimism is, I'll tell you what it is. So optimism is the hope. So optimism is the hopefulness and confidence about the future or the successful outcome of something. So, in simple terms, optimism is a hopeful and positive outlook on life, oneself, and the future. It is a key part of resilience, the inner strength that helps people get through difficult times. Optimists tend to focus on the good in the situation and what they can do to improve it. They may also be more likely to exercise, eat healthier, and smoke less than pessimists. So even though
Optimism.
optimism is a good word to know because it gives you because the definition to the size gives you the understanding what it means or what the word means. So, optimism is a hopeful and positive outlook on life, oneself, and the future. So, so an optimistic person is someone who tends to have a positive outlook on life, expecting good outcomes and maintaining hope, even in the face of challenges. So let me see what in the face of challenge it is. Even though I'm sorry I have to go through a different topic for a second, can someone that explain what it means in that particular thing? So, in the face of challenge means to act or respond in a particular way despite facing difficulties or obstacles. It implies a situation where someone is confronted with something difficult and is taking action or maintaining a certain attitude in spite of it. Here's a more detailed explanation. Facing challenges. The phrase face a challenge means to deal with something difficult or unpleasant that affects you. Responding to difficulties and the face of indicates that the action or attitude is a reaction to the challenge. So let's say if someone is ready for a challenge and is ready to approve it, then they might say they up for the challenge because they're willing to do it or they're willing to accept that challenge, you know? Examples. The company responded positively in the face of financial difficulties. She remained optimistic in the face of adversity. The team perser- pers- preserve preserve per, persevered. So let's see. The team persevered in the face of setbacks. Significance. Understanding this phrase helps in recognizing how people and organizations respond to difficult situations, which can be crucial for understanding their resilience and problem-solving abilities. So yes, that's a good skill and a good attitude because you know why? Because people feel ready to accept this challenge to make them feel good about themselves, you know? So that's why optimism is a good word and facing a challenge and stuff. So yes. So now physical health benefits. Research suggests that gratitude can have positive effects on physical health, including improved sleep, reduced pain, and a stronger immune system. Sense of meaning, sense of meaning and purpose. Expressing gratitude can lead to a greater sense of meaning and purpose in life. Positive outlook. Gratitude helps individuals see the world through a more positive lens, focusing on the good rather than the negative. So yes, so people who are grateful appreciate things that's being done for them or what's being given to them because they was happy for what they got and not get upset for the things that they didn't want or they didn't ask for in particular, or just giving the silent treatment and don't even care, just don't even care enough to say thank you or say I really appreciate it. So yes, so that's a good job for some of you who have shown appreciation for the people who care, who loved you and care about you. So now we can look up what can you say if someone is grateful. When someone expresses gratitude, you can acknowledge their thanks with a simple "You're welcome" or "Glad I could help" or offer more enthusiastic responses like "My pleasure" anytime or "I'm happy to help." Here are more here are some other options depending on the situation and your relationship with the person. Simple and polite. You're welcome. Glad I could help. No problem. Anytime. My pleasure. Happy to help, of course. More enthusiastic. It was a pleasure. I'm so glad I could help. I'm happy to do it. You're very welcome. That's what friends are for. You're the best. You made my day. I'm so glad you like it. I'm so glad it was helpful. It's an honor. If you feel particularly touched by their gratitude, that means a lot to me. I appreciate you saying that. Thank you for your kind words. I'm touched by your gratitude. I'm very grateful for your support. I sincerely appreciate your assistance. Your support is greatly appreciated. So, these are words you can say when someone says they appreciate the gift, or when so these are words you could say to them if they say thank you, they appreciate you for your hard work and always willing to always willing to express their gratitude and stuff. So guys, when someone goes out of their way to do something nice for you guys say thank you or thank you for your time and effort. Thank you for helping me. Thank you for supporting me. So things like that starts with a thank you all the time. So even if you have kids and even if you have kids, you're supposed to teach them to say thank you or use their manners when they go out to eat or when they go to someone's house, because you never know what they could do to make you feel proud. But once you and your kids go places, you should teach them to say thank you for their time and effort. So let's say, so one last thing. So it says, what can you say to your kids when you teach them manners? So whether you go to a place or whether you go to somebody's house, it's important to say thank you at all times while you're there. So remember, don't just give them the silent treatment. Just say, thank you. You say thank you or thank you very much, and I appreciate you. So, yes. So it says, when teaching your kids manners, use simple positive phrases like please and thank you are important. They show respect. And apologies when you made a mistake. Which you don't have to apologize if you made a mistake. It's fine. Like, it's just like when you learn from your mistakes and stuff. So, apology is not needed. And model good manners yourself. Here's a breakdown of phrases and concepts to use. Basic, polite phrases like please and thank you reinforce the importance of these phrases when asking for something or receiving something. Examples: could you please pass me the salt? Thank you for helping me. Sorry or apologize. Sorry or apologize. Teach your children to take responsibility for their actions and apologize when they made a mistake. Examples: I'm sorry I bumped into you and I apologize for interrupting. So you're welcome. Teaching your children to respond to a thank you with a polite you're welcome. Respect and consideration. Respect for others. Emphasize the importance of respecting others, including elders, teachers, and friends. Examples: listen when others are speaking. Wait your turn. Be kind to everyone. Kindness and compassion. Encourage your children to be kind and compassionate towards others. Examples: help someone who needs it. Share your toys. Be understanding of others' feelings. Um Take turns. So yeah, whether you go out to a place or whether you go out to someone's house, you always have to teach your kids respect and consideration because if if somebody's parent is responsible for your children, they're going to get mad at you as a parent and they're going to be like, or they might let you know that your kid is doing something wrong and you're not doing nothing to take care of it. So yes, so you're supposed to teach them respect and consideration for others, for other people, for others that's around them. So yes, so respect and consideration is important. So it says, taking turns. Teach your children to wait for their turn in conversations, games, and other situations. Examples: let's take turns talking. Wait for your turn to speak. Wait for your turn to speak. Offer to help. Offer to help. Encourage your children to offer help when appropriate. Examples: can I help you with that? I can carry your bag. Modeling good manners. Be a role model. Children learn by absorbing. So make sure you model good manners yourself. Cause remember, not just the kids who has to learn manners, it's everybody. Everybody in this whole family has to use their manners for in order to express their gratitude, right? Not just kids, it's adults too. Teenagers, elders, everybody in this world has to show manners. Cause you're the person that's teaching them to say thank you and please and thank you. So yeah, they both good manners, you know. So it says praise and encourage. When your children demonstrate good manners, praise and encourage their behavior. Don't let rudeness pass. Address instance of rude behavior and explain why it's not acceptable. So, if let's say if someone was being rude to you or your child, or let's say if someone was being rude to you and your children's, so how can you deal with that in that situation? So we'll come back to this. Explain why. Explain the why. Help your children understand the reasons behind good manners, such as showing respect and making others feel good. So let's go back to the rudeness for a second and then we'll go to the why section. So let's see. So it says, what can you say if someone is being rude to you and your children's? Because I know children's get scared when they be talked to like that and you never know what they could be going through, you know? So, if someone is being rude to you and your children, you can calmly but firmly address the situation by stating that their behavior is unacceptable and setting boundaries while also protecting your children from the negativity. Here's a breakdown of how to respond. Acknowledge the rudeness. Start by recognizing the rude behavior without getting defensive. So, for example, you could say, I'm noticing that you're speaking to me and my children in a disrespectful way, and that's not okay. Setting boundaries. Clearly state that their behavior is unacceptable and that you will not tolerate it. You could say, I will not allow you to speak to me or my children like that. Or, I need you to speak to me and my children with respect. So, protect your children. So you as the parent has to protect your children from getting hurt or scared, right? So you're the parent that's talking, right? Talking to the person that was rude to y'all. So when the rudeness starts to happen, you protect your children. If your children do something bad, then you talk to them. So yes. So the rudeness doesn't count. So so now so now the third root is to protect your children. Ensure that your children are safe and comfortable. If the person's rudeness is directly at your children, immediately interfere and protect them. You could say, I will not let you speak to my children that way. Or, my children deserve to be treated with respect, and I will not allow you to do that. Because that's not appropriate. That is not appropriate way to speak to my children. So, or if the person is being rude directly to your children, you can draw the line with them, which I'll explain at the end because I know what that is. So it says, maintain calmness even if the person becomes agitated or argumentative. Remain calm and composed. Avoid engaging in the argument or raising your voice. This will help de-escalate the situation and model respectful behavior. Walk away if necessary. If the situation becomes too heated or unsafe, it's okay to remove yourself and your children from the situation. You can say, I'm going to step away now, and I expect you to be respectful in my absence. Consider reporting if the rudeness escalates to harassment or bullying. Consider reporting the incident to the appropriate authorities or to the person's employer. So it doesn't matter what they're going through, but their rudeness is not going to be taken out on you or your children, because in that case, if somebody is being rude to y'all or talking to y'all crazy, you can use the tips that's up here. And so the tips I'm going to give you is without the children's name on it. So it says, I will not be tolerate being talked to like that. Or you could say, I need you to speak to me in a respectful way. Or, I will not let you speak to me that way because that's not appropriate and that's not okay for you to treat me like that. So that's gonna be the tips that we just went over with the children, right? Because how is that? So now we talk about how is the rudeness is affecting you and the children. So whatever it is that you have whatever it is that the rudeness is starting to bother you in that situation. So it says, what can you report if someone is being rude to you and your children? So if someone is being rude, so if someone is being rude or disrespectful to you and your children. Well, hold on, wait. So if someone is being rude or disrespectful to you and your children, you can report the incident to the person's employer, the location's management, or the authorities if the behavior escalates to harassment or threats. You can also document the incidents and seek legal advice if needed. So here's a more detailed breakdown. So so it says, document the incidents. Keep a record of the specific incidents. Note that the date, time, location, the rude comments or actions, and any witnesses. Include details about the impact on you and your children. How did the rudeness make you feel? How did it affect your children? So address the um address the rudeness directly if safe and appropriate. Calmly and assertively address the person. Explain how their behavior is making you and your children feel. Set boundaries. Let them know that their behavior is unacceptable and that you expect them to be respectful. Consider walking away. If the situation escalates or you feel unsafe, remove yourself and your children from the situation. Report the incident. Contact the person's employer. If the rudeness occurs at work, report it to the employer or the HR department. Consider the location's management. If the incident occurs in a public place, report it to the management or security. Contact the police or authorities. If the rudeness escalates to harassment, threats, or other legal behavior, report it to the police. Seek legal advice. Consult with an attorney if you're concerned about the legal implications of the innocence. Seek advice from a qualified attorney. Consider consider filing a lawsuit. In some cases, you may have grounds to file a lawsuit against the person who was rude and disrespectful, which they shouldn't have to do that. The manager should be able to take care of that situation because the manager is watching the employees that work there, you know? So if they address the issue to the manager will come over to the employer and let them know that their rudeness has to stop. You remember in the previous video, I was telling you guys that when when the employer was so when your employer was being rude to the customers and you wasn't taking care of them properly, then the manager is going to say something to you that you can't just talk to the customers any type of way because they're not going to want to come back again because they might not want to ask you for anything because of the way that you talk to the customers, and that's not what the manager expects from you or the employer that works there. So now, consider seeking professional help. Talk to a therapist or a counselor. If you're struggling to cope with the innocent, consider seeking professional help. Join a support group. Connect with other parents who have experienced similar situation. So now, because of the fact, so so now, because of the fact that it's good to keep your children safe from dangerous situations like this because I know some employees will be rude to the customers, and that's not the way you should treat the customers. I will say. So so now so now so if someone is being rude to you and your children in a workplace, in a workplace, wait, hold on. If someone's being rude to you and your children in the workplace, you can approach the HR by stating the issue clearly, providing specific examples of the rude behavior, and explaining the impact it has on you and your children while requesting their assistance in addressing the situation. Here's approach Here's a more detailed approach. Document the incidents. Keep a log. Note the dates, time, location, and specific details of each incident of rude behavior, including what was said in the context. So, gather evidence. If possible, obtain copies of emails, messages, or other documentations that support your claim. Schedule a meeting with HR. Be professional and calm. Approach the HR department with a calm and professional demeanor, even though you may be feeling upset. Explain the situation. Clearly state that you're experiencing rude or disrespectful behavior from a specific individuals and that it is affecting you and your children. Provide specific examples. Use the log you created to provide concerns, examples of the rude behavior, including the dates, times, and what was said. Explain the impact. Explain how this behavior is making you feel and how it is affecting your work. And the well-being of your children. State your requests. Clearly state what you like HR to do. Wait. Clearly state what you like HR to do to address the situation, such as mediation, training for the individual, or other appropriate actions. Example language to use. I'm writing to report that I have been experiencing disrespectful and rude behavior from name of person that is also directed at my children. I have documented several instances of this behavior which I have attached. On date, at time, and location, the name of person said specific rude comment to me and my children. This made me feel your feelings and made my children feel the children's feelings. So whatever you feel in the situation, you have the right to do so. I am requesting that HR interfere to address this situation and ensure that name of person understands that this behavior is unacceptable and needs to stop. I am concerned that this behavior is creating a hostile work environment for me and my children, and I am requesting that HR take appropriate action to address this issue. So once you address the issue to the HR will go over there and talk to that person that was rude to y'all and see if it works. So now we can go back. So now what can the HR say if someone is being rude to you and your children? So now so I'm trying to say, let's see. Serious. I'm trying to see if the let me so now because try to figure out what could the HR say to this person who was rude to you and your kids, because I know kids are important. So 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 if the employee is being rude to you and your children, HR can investigate the situation, potentially mediate, and take disciplinary actions if warranted, potentially including termination, which means you're getting out of the store, depending on the severity and company policy. So here's a more detailed breakdown. Investigation. So HR would likely investigate the situation, which may involve speaking with you, the other employee, and any witnesses. Mediation. HR may attempt to mediate the situation to resolve the conflict and prevent future incidents. disciplinary actions. Depending on the severity of the behavior and the company's policies, HR may take disciplinary actions against the offending employee, which can range from a verbal warning to termination. Protection. HR has a responsibility to protect employees from harassment and discrimination, and they should take steps to ensure your safety and well being. Documentations. It is important to document any incidents of rude or harassing behavior, including dates, times, locations, and what was said or done. Legal considerations. If the behavior is based on a protected characteristic like race, gender, religion, etc., it could be considered harassment or discrimination, and HR must address it accordingly. So once you explain your problems to the HR, let's see. Let's see. Let me just see some. Is now we can ask who could. So who could the HR report it to? So it says who can the HR report to if someone is being rude to you and your children? So, if you and your children are being subjected to rude or harassing behavior at work, you should first report the incident to your supervisor or manager, then to human resources as they are responsible for investigating and addressing such issues. So, here's a more detailed explanation. Initial reporting. Supervisor and manager begin by informing your direct supervisor or manager about the rude or harassing behavior, allowing the opportunity to address the situation. So, human resource. If the behavior continues or you feel uncomfortable addressing it with your supervisor, report it to HR. So now, because of the fact that you are being discriminated by you and your children, and you want to deal with it right away, or you want to address it right away, go to your manager or your supervisor first, and then you can report it to HR. Because sometimes managers and because your supervisors and your managers can help you in that situation. Because I know that once you deal with it the first time, and sometimes we just gotta lose your cool. Sometimes you have to be cool with that situation. So if an employee is being rude to you and your children, HR can advise the manager to take appropriate actions, which could include addressing the behavior with the employee, potentially issuing a warning, or even taking disciplinary actions if the behavior continues. So now, because of the fact, so now we can say, what can a manager say if someone is being rude to you and your children? So now the manager is gonna speak to them. So now let's see if let's see, and employee. So, if an employee is being rude to you and your children, your manager can address the situation by clearly stating that such behavior is unacceptable, setting expectations for respectful conduct, and potentially taking disciplinary actions if that behavior persists. So, So here's a more detailed breakdown of how a manager might handle the situation, like address the behavior directly. So the manager should have a private conversation with the rude employee and clearly state that their behavior is unacceptable and it needs to stop. Explain why is it explain why is it explain why is unacceptable. The manager should explain why the rude behavior is not tolerated, emphasizing the importance of respect and professionalism in the workplace. Set clear expectations. The manager should reiterate the company's expectations for respectful conduct and make it clear that such behavior would not be tolerated. Hmm.
Reiterate.
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 Reiterate. Reiterate. Reiterate. The manager should reiterate, well, yeah. The manager should reiterate the company's expectations for respectful conduct and making it clear that such behavior will not be tolerated. Consequences for continued behavior. The manager should inform the employee that continued disrespectful behavior will result in disciplinary actions, which could range from a written warning to termination. Consult with HR if necessary. If the situation escalates or if the manager is unsure how to proceed, they should consult with the Human Resources Department for guidance. Report the incident, like I was saying, like the manager should document the incident, including the date, the time, and the nature of the rude behavior, as well as any actions taken. Consider mediation. In some cases, a manager might consider involving a neutral third party to mediate the situation and help the parties find a resolution. Examples of what the manager can say: I need you. I need to address your recent behavior. Your words and actions towards your name and your children were disrespectful and unprofessional. This is not acceptable and must stop immediately. Going forward, I expect all employees to treat each other and our customers with respect. This includes refraining from using language or making comments that are offensive or demeaning. If this behavior continues, I will be forced to take further disciplinary actions, up to and including termination of your employment. So the manager will have to let the employees know that you can't curse at the workplace because they will kick you out. Yeah, so there's no, so when you go to the workplace, there's no inappropriate comments because If you use inappropriate comments or you lash out at your customers, they will talk to you first, or they might give you a warning, or if you continue to speak to them that way, then they'll give you a determination which they say you gotta leave because you're not treating your customers well. And it's not fair to the customers that has to be talked to like that. So if you want to work with customers, you have to treat them with respect and courtesy. You have to give them good customer service. You have to show them way around. If they need something and you show them where it's at, then you show them which aisle to go to and they'll know where to go. So you see, that's how you can handle your customers, by talking to them in a calm, kind way. And make your customers proud. That's what everybody should expect to do in that situation. So once the manager said something, once the manager talked to employees, what behaviors should he or she expects, and what behaviors that he or she don't expect in the workplace. So now the behavior is already taken care of and stuff, and you thank them for their help in the situation. So now you feel better, and now that you get to go home, so because of the fact that this kind of behavior will not be tolerated, well, no, their behavior will not be tolerated. So now we're going to explain to your children why is it important to use good manners. So now we talked about don't let the rudeness pass, which don't let people talk to you any type of way, or don't let people treat you in a way that you don't like. So now we can say, so now because why? Let me see. So it says it says, how can you explain to your kids why it is it important to use your manners? So the reason why you have to use your manners is because it shows respect for others and it makes interactions smoother, helping you make friends and build relationship and feel good about yourself. So here's a more detailed explanation you can use with your kids. Respect for others. Good manners like a language of respect. When you say please and thank you, you're showing that you value the other person in their time. Making friends. when you're polite and considerate, people are more likely to like you and want to be your friend. Building relationships. Good manners help you build strong relationships with family, friends, and even people you don't know well. Smooth interactions. When everybody when everyone uses good manners, things go much smoother and everyone feels so when you teach them these manners, they'll feel like when they get older and they starting to learn manners, then they'll understand the importance of using your manners. Which in my next video, I'm gonna talk about more, so that there's a reason that we're going through the manners rules, because everybody must follow the rules, even 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 I mean, even if you have kids and they don't know the simplest direction. So you might teach your kids, or you might have to go through the rules with them so that you can understand what you expect them to do and what you don't expect them to do. So, sometimes some parents don't even teach them, they just let them do what they want so that they can just do anything and say, oh, well, I'm gonna let your kid do this, so do that. But then, if you at somebody's house and they see your kid doing something wrong, like they running around, they knocking stuff over, or they not being polite to others, then they'll think that your kid is crazy because you're not teaching them the right way to behave, or the right way to use manners. So so some so parents needs to get on top of their kid to make sure they're doing the right thing, as opposed to someone else taking responsibility for your children, for their children, and not even realizing that's how your kid is, because you don't teach them anything. But yes, like I was saying, I'm gonna go over more about it. So I think I'm gonna go back to the guest part so that each and every one of you will understand the importance of taking your kids with you to someone's house, and letting them know what is important to have kids that are, well, whether it's good kids or bad kids, you still have to teach them basic stuff. So I hope this video helps you. So I hope you like, subscribe, and comment down below on my YouTube video. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you stay tuned for another video. And have a good evening, everyone.